Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hi! It's Wednesday again. They just keep coming. I can't stop the Wednesdays. I've tried. Believe me, I've tried, but they keep happening.
And also what keeps happening is these priority Q&A, because we are going to catch up on these. I promise you. It's gonna happen. You want to do it.
All right. I'll let you think. I'll let you think what you want to think, dude. You can think whatever you want. We're never gonna catch up ever.
Once we're caught up, then we'll catch up on the standard Q&A.
Oh, yes, we will definitely catch up on that. Of course. No. Remember when we used to only have 6 questions every 2 weeks?
It's kind of nice to have job security.
I mean, on one hand, it's a good problem to have a deluge, a surplus of questions on a show all about Q&A. But on the other hand, it's a lot of questions.
It is. And thank you, everyone, for, 1, your contributions, and 2, for your patience as we get through these as fast as we can.
Yes. Which is to say, not very fast.
We're pumping out like 60 questions a week.
At this point, yes, we are. We have we do 10 times as many questions per week than we used to do every 2 weeks. So, yeah, I guess whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, let's kick things off with a question here from Alex GS. Does Ray count as a proper flying type character? Instead of just gliding, could he maybe flap his arms like wings to gain some height? Looking at Cream's ears, I think it's certainly plausible.
I think he counts just in terms of virtue of he can move through the air. Like, he's the flying squirrel. It would feel silly to say he's not technically a flying type.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably, Cream doesn't fly because I don't think she can ascend. I think she only propels herself. Can she go up?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I played Advance.
Yeah, she flies very similarly to Tails.
Heroes. Yeah.
And
okay.
she ascends in Heroes, but I mean, to be fair, they're making some gameplay concessions in Heroes. So
yeah, well,
because
I just
Amy's
Cream
not normally a speed type.
Movement, and Tails had more vertical, but regardless, yes, I'm counting it as a flying type. I will fight somebody over that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fine. I mean, they'd need a flying type for the team of Mighty Ray and insert third speed type character here, maybe, or power type somehow. Magic. I don't know, man. I don't know. Somebody figure it out. Here's a question from Chaos Sonic 1. Question, is it possible that you will be the lead writer for the IDW comic again? I only ask because I'm curious in case Evan wants to step down on it. P.S. I also enjoy Evan's run.
I mean, yeah, it's possible. It's kind of up to the IDW to decide.
Let them decide. They will decide. Decide in the eyes. Wait, no, that's a song from F-Zero X. Anyway. Here's one from Scurvy Pirate Hog. In the start of the Archie reboot, when Sonic and the Freedom Fighters touched Nicole, they got their memories of their pre-reboot lives. Now, I agree that since they forgot these memories later on, this was pointless, but that doesn't mean we can't have any fun with it. So, what if some other characters touched Nicole and got their pre-boot memories back? How would Knuckles react to remembering his pre-boot life? Or King Acorn? Or how about Mutsky? Oh no. Poor Ben Mutsky. Poor Ben Mutsky. Mutsky, no, don't do that.
Ben remembers all and he's like, man, no real difference here.
Wow.
Knuckles, I imagine, would be kind of overwhelmed. He would just kind of sit there and by the time he's processed it all, it would have faded away anyway.
I mean,
So
that's kind of how it feels reading what happened to Knuckles too.
he just kind of blinks and looks around and says, what happened to the past 2 days? King Acorn would be rather sad. I think he would just kind of get real quiet and very introspective and then buy Sally a pony or something out of recompense.
Oh, yes. That's how you get your way back into someone's heart. Buy them things. Oh, well. She'd have been confused because she'd have been like, what are you doing? I mean, just imagining Knuckles thinking like, I was green? The heck?
He's staring at that gloved hand going, do I dare take it off and check? Do I dare take it off and check?
Can they remove the gloves? I don't know.
In theory?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
And they can take their shoes off. That's how we know they got the blobby flipper feet.
Yeah, that's true.
Stands to reason they can take the gloves off.
Maybe.
Well, we know they can because there's that one piece of official art where Silver used his glove to make the snowman have his like front poof. But we didn't see the hand. It was kind of hidden with the staging.
Okay. They deliberately hid the hand. Nice.
Yeah. Clever.
Yeah. That's what you do with feet, too, especially these days. All right, here's one from Sprites Forever. If you can talk about it, what was your first reaction when you found out that the IDW book was happening? Again, if you can talk about it, did you apply on your own initiative, or did IDW approach you on their initiative?
It was kind of a blood runs cold scenario where it's like, oh, good, there is a new book, and it's, with an American publisher. Maybe I have a chance, but I had no contacts at IDW at all. And it's like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't know who to try to reach out to. And it's a new publisher. They probably want to go in a new direction with their own creative team. So this does not look good for the Homestar runner. And then they emailed me saying, hi, this is, Joe Edkin with IDW. Would you be interested in coming back? It's like, yes. Thank you. Relief.
Sweet relief.
some shred of stability in my life once again.
Yeah, that was a bit of a touch and go time. I remember that.
It was spooky.
It was scary. Yes, I can only imagine how it was for you because I mean it was like weirdly, it was weirdly concerning for me too. It's like, oh boy.
And then, the minute that the ink had dried on the contract, it's like, so these are all these other freelancers I know. They know Sonic. They know what Sega wants from Sonic. Why don't you give them a shot? Here's some emails.
Yeah. And then they tried to hire some other people too, but they couldn't find anyone else.
They wanted a new
art team.
Language,
yeah.
Which I understand. And then guess who it was who patched the tryouts with flying colors?
All the ones who knew how to draw Sonic. Yeah, go figure. It's almost like everybody who knew how to draw Sonic in the comic book industry was already working on these Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. No,
well, that's not to throw the other artists under the bus.
Nah.
I saw some of the tryout art. And it's like, oh, this is really neat. They look kind of good, but Sega can be pretty picky sometimes, and it's like,
yes, we get it.
Some folks made the cut, some didn't. And we got some new folks, too. So
we did,
yes. In the end, it worked out pretty well.
We got some fantastic new folks. Absolutely. But it's always good to see the old names, too, I like that. Yep. It's a nice, comfortable feeling, Always got the old standbys along with the newcomers. It's a good time. All right, here's one from Tempo. Do you have any tips or tricks for keeping larger-than-life stories and continuity cohesive in the long run? I have an absolutely massive story I've been silently developing a pitch for roughly 5 years now, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a fear of mine that my own limitations will stifle my dreams and passions. Got any advice?
I don't know about advice. Maybe lessons I need to learn myself to a degree. But look at your project and think to yourself, how would you pitch this in a sentence or two? What is the story of your project in 2 sentences?
You gotta
And they
go
can't
with
be run-on sentences either. You have to use 1 comma at most.
This has to be the elevator pitch.
Yeah. And if you can't do that, you need to step back and look at what you've done.
Look at what you did. I'm kidding.
Like, if the core itself is simple and easy to understand, everything can be built onto that. So if your story is, like, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like, let's look at the first live action Ninja Turtles movie, because that was on my mind recently.
Oh, that's a good comfort movie. Anyway, going back to the previous
absolutely.
episode. Anyway, yes. Yeah.
It's about 4 brothers who are chased out of their home, find themselves and become a closer family, and return home to rescue their father.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the story.
Right.
There's a lot more to it. You know there's a lot more to it. But all of that is built off of that very core framework.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's look at the first Star Wars, A New Hope. It's about a naive farm boy who finds God and leaves his podunk nowhere to become a hero for the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no mention of Leia or Han or Chewie or Vader or Death Star or nothing. But that's the core story. And all the details can be built off of that. Look at Sonic. You know, it's about a guy who loves adventure who stops a mad scientist from stuffing people into robots.
Mm-hmm.
Where does Metal Virus even come into that mix? It's an extrapolation off of that core. So look at your project, all of it, and see what is the core. What is your main character's motivation? One of the surprisingly most confounding mental exercises is to take your main character and do the need versus want question. What do they want to achieve, and what do they really need to achieve? On a personal level, in the greater sense of the narrative, what is that? And again, if you can't sum it up concisely, maybe you've gotten lost in the forest that you have planted yourself. And if you come away from these questions going, arg, this is too much, then you got to do that horrible, horrible thing that is revision. I hate revision.
Mm-hmm.
You put so much thought into it. You put so much effort into it. You already thought about it and figured things out, and you got it to work. So why do you need to revise? You already did all the mental legwork. Nope. Sometimes you got to look at it and go, it doesn't work. It works for me, but it doesn't work for anybody else. So you got to trim it and prune it and maybe even uproot the damn thing. But it will usually come out for the better. See what really works and take it back to formula if you have to. You spent 5 years on it. I know that's not what you want to hear. I completely understand. I deeply sympathize. But that's one of the hardest questions you have to ask yourself. And it's one of the most disciplined things you have to do for yourself.
Back to formula. We can't go back to formula. No. No, I will become the Green Goblin. No. Here's one from TV Guru. Do you think the Shadow can't warp without an emerald thing? Just confusion over terms? It's a chaos control power, but it also has a specific name, Chaos Snap. SEGA could be mistaking the general chaos control ability for his intrinsic short-range teleporting.
That might be one explanation one day, but I think it's a more general lack of cohesion on his execution.
Who knows what'll be? Who knows what the explanation will be tomorrow?
I mean, valiant effort. That's worth a shot next time it comes up, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Here's a question from the internet person. Wait, I thought these were all internet people.
Bada-bump-bump.
Oh, no. So Shadow's been able to use his chaos powers without an emerald countless times in the games, yet apparently he needs an emerald now to do so, sadly. Is there any chaos powers Shadow can use without an emerald, with or without his emitter rings on? Wow, it's like this was coincidentally put next to each other.
At this point, I can't say for certainty. I feel like he needs to be looked at and scrutinized and formalized by the folks upstairs.
Yeah, probably. Here's a question from Alley Cat. Hi, big fan. If Sega were okay with it, would you ever introduce a transgender character?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Maybe you already have. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, shit. My thing would be that it needs to be an aspect of the character, not their defining trait.
Right.
Same with any kind of personal identifier. If it's just, here is my label, that's not a character trait. It needs to be part of who they are, to be sure, but they need to be a character first and foremost.
Right. Of course. Of course. Absolutely. And our last question before we take a quick break is from Nondull. What are some times where you were told information about a character from Sega that really surprised you and made you feel like you understood the character better?
Most recently would have been the relationship between Zavok and Master Zik, where I had understood it as, it's a distinction here. Like it's not going to sound like it's that big of a difference as I say it out loud, but trust me, of just him being respectful to his elders as, the previous leader of the pack. But they specified that it's more of a master and apprentice, which is not quite right. It's that Zeke is more of Zavok's senpai in the actual master in tutelage. That he passed on command to Zavok, but Zavok is still reverent and respectful of Zeke's I don't want to say position, but
like his status.
Yeah, status. There we
go. Like his title or whatever, his as master.
Yeah. Especially with the Deadly Six don't really respect or like much of each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that distinction is like, okay. That clicks. That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, it seems for some reason that kind of reminds me of like the relationship that Splinter has with the Turtles, especially Leonardo.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, they're definitely more they're more of a family, obviously, but it's still kind of in a similar vein, it seems like to me. Like how Splinter is a father figure in one sense, but the master of the dojo in the other sense.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I think something like that for sure. Well, we're going to take a quick break and then return with more BumbleKast. And we're back. And we got a question from Speedweed. Say get the chance to make a Metroid comic, but it's a spin-off focusing on an antagonist, similar to IDW Sonic's bad guys or similar. How do you view those antagonists? Specifically Dark Samus and Ravenbeak, if you can.
That's a little harder to do since most of the antagonistic forces in Metroid are like cosmic horror things.
Yeah, more like forces of nature rather than like generally more like characters.
Like, we know Ridley is intelligent. He can give orders to the space pirates, but he's not going to necessarily talk to them the way that Starlion would talk to the others.
Right.
You got to figure out the right balance of how to convey him as an intelligent being without it really chafing with the giant space dragon angle. Dark Samus and Ravenbeak specifically, though, would be interesting case studies because it's been a long time since I went through Prime, but I don't seem to remember Dark Samus overtly giving commands or being very emotive. She was kind of more of a spooky boogeyman type of character.
I don't know if she did like much outside of just being terrifying.
Because she takes command of the space pirates in 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting confirmation that is accurate.
Because you get the journal entries of, the space pirates initially being like, oh god, there's two of them, kill it, kill it, kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns into all hail our glorious Dark Queen. So whether they infer her orders or if it's just kind of a psychic presence, or what was Dark Samus personality wise, really? Like, did she have a sense of awareness? Did she have a sense of self? Was she more of a animal moving by instinct? There's a lot of questions to be answered first and foremost before you can get into how would she be portrayed. It's like, what was she? Ravenbeak is, I guess, the closest you would get to a comic book character in that he had a clear and very human motivation in terms of wanting to conquer and wanting the ultimate power and whatnot.
Ironic being not human, but anyway.
Yeah. I would think it'd be kind of interesting if we could have seen him earlier on before everything went to hell and see if he was always such a warmongering rat bastard, or if like maybe he was a little more moderate, just very aggressive, and as things escalated and continued to fall apart, if he became more and more extreme in his methods. Like, would the Ravenbeak of Dread be unrecognizable to the Ravenbeak of old? I think that might be an interesting character arc, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, I'm into it. When you pitch in the Metroid comic, and when's it coming out?
It'd probably be easier to use some of the hunters from Hunters. But I'm not as familiar with that game or those characters, so it's hard for me to say off the cuff.
Gonna have to do some research.
I don't think most of them were antagonists anyway, aside from the one space pirate guy. But he's a space pirate; they're jerks.
Yeah. It's more like rivals,
Yeah,
like Knuckles or Shadow. They're not really evil.
Like I know they were well, I don't know. I heard that Silex was kind of maybe being set up to be an antagonistic force, but I don't know if that was like more of a rival or a straight up villain,
Mm-hmm. I'm getting word that is true. Okay. What you heard was true. And it was probably going to be a villain.
All right.
So I don't know. Maybe we could play with that. I don't know. Here's a question from Pizza Person. Is it official that only Sonic, Shadow, and Silver currently have super forms? And if so, what do you think makes these three able to achieve super forms? Is it their species or some other connection to the Chaos Emeralds?
Yes, unfortunately, that is the official word at the moment. As to why?
Y chromosome.
I don't know. There isn't anything concrete that I know of outside of their male hedgehogs, and that doesn't fly.
That's stupid.
That's no good. Like, I mean, we know Sonic seems to have a penchant for just being able to do whatever he needs to do by willpower alone. Shadow has already got that chaos control connection, so you could explain that away. Silver, I don't know. If you want to prescribe to the Shadow and Amy somehow lead to Silver thing, you could say it's a bloodline thing, but I don't know if I prescribe to that. So I don't know. There is not a solid reason why, and I feel like it needs to be explored better.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, Sega's just scared of Super Amy. Like, if they let Amy go super, what's she gonna do? She's gonna wreck the place, man. I don't know.
I mean, if they're going the route of hedgehogs are essentially Saiyans, that could work, but we have Kefla. We've got our Super Saiyan female characters, so why not Amy?
Got a few now.
Yep. Or if Amy can't go super, then something. What does she get? If she doesn't get super, what does she get? Something. Come on.
She goes duper.
No.
Why not?
That's silly.
Ian, this is a franchise about a talking blue cartoon hedgehog with noodle arms and legs, noodle limbs. It's already pretty silly.
No, it's perfectly serious business.
Obviously, very, very serious. Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people do take it a little too seriously. But anyway. Here's a question from Exidel. In the typical Sonic pining heart tradition of beating the dead freedom fighter horse, is there benching down solely to Sega's decision to try and blot the characters from Sonic's history, a la Sonic Boom or Chronicles, or does it have to do with the legal hullabaloo between Sega, Archie, and Deke? I'm sure the question is tiring, but there's not much of a vote with the wallet option for a return of these characters returning from the patchers, so I figured I'd shoot my shot. Sorry for being so long-winded.
No. You're rather concise.
No, actually, yeah. Very short. We've gotten many questions that are much longer, and sometimes they aren't even questions.
Yeah. I do not know for absolute certain. I have my contacts and my sources, but I am not like in charge, so I can't say for absolute surezies. But it's my impression it's more of the former rather than the latter. That Sega doesn't really like to acknowledge older interpretations of the franchise, be it SATAM, Adventures of, Underground, X, Boom, Sonic the Comic, Archie, anything. It's like, here's modern Sonic and that's it. So,
which I hate.
I think that's what it is more than anything. And as far as I am aware, the Freedom Fighters themselves should be in the clear. Because I would think that whenever Sega and Deke made their arrangement back in the 90s, that it was understood that they were creating content for the Sega license. Like, the way I've heard it explained is that Deke, which is Wild Brain now,
yeah,
has the distribution rights for the episodes, but that the content is Sega's. So,
right.
As far as I am aware, they should be free to use. It's just they don't want to use such an old part of the franchise.
Yeah. I mean,
now,
on one hand, I understand wanting to distance yourself from what came before in a way, but also it just seems like there would be better ways to, or there are good ways to reincorporate some of this older stuff that would please the old fans and also would, I think, work for new fans too. I mean, Archie did it for decades, literally.
Yeah.
So
now the Archie stuff doesn't help things, but I don't think it is the main concern.
Right.
Again, I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it would be it's like artificial roadblocks for nothing. Like, could build up a lot of goodwill with the Sonic fandom by, acknowledging that, yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that exists and people still enjoy it about the franchise even 30 years later. So, I don't know. Here's a question from Azalis. Comedy scenario time. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Tangle, Mina, and Omega, blue team. Eggman, Stone, Kit, Surge, Clove, Maw, and Starline, red team, all compete in Hell's Kitchen with Mobius's version of Gordon Ramsay. How does it go?
Poorly. I mean, out of blue team, Amy is the only one who might know how to bake something.
Really? Omega doesn't?
No.
He can bake like the best of them, man. He's a robot. His measuring skills are impeccable.
Only in terms of distance. Ordnance. You tell him set it to flambe, he will ask who.
Also, I'm being told I pronounced Ramsay wrong. Whatever, I don't care. It's funnier. It's funnier.
It's the Mobius version.
Gordon Ramsay.
Ram, so it's Gordon Ramsay.
Ramsay. I'm American, so we say stuff dumb. Okay.
Like Tails could fix any of the appliances, but he's not really much of a cook. Knuckles forages, I'm sure. Sonic just eats whatever he can get his hands on. Tangle is not allowed in the kitchen. And Nina never struck me as the person to really cook. So it's kind of Amy on her own. Maybe she can organize them and get them to, do stuff, but the amount of supervision she would have to have over each of them to make sure what they were doing was correct would mean that she wouldn't get any of the actual work done herself. So it would be a controlled spiral into nothing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Red Team, it just comes into a fist fight.
I would imagine, yes.
You got Stone and Starline tripping over themselves to appease Eggman, who doesn't want to do any of the actual work, but neither of them want to, be upstaged by the other. So they're stabbing each other in the back more than they're actually cooking. Kit and Surge will actively try to sabotage everything in the kitchen. Red Team, Blue Team, it doesn't matter. They're going to try to kill everyone in that room. Clove probably knows how to cook something, but she can't do it in these conditions. And Maw's just going to kind of hang back and see how things fall out because he knows nothing is going to be accomplished.
Yeah.
He knows this is a disaster. And you've got Gordon shouting threats and insults at people until finally he says something a little too incendiary towards Eggman, and Stone and Starline agree to a truce so that they can get rid of Gordon.
You're cooking like a donkey. I didn't know donkeys could cook. I guess that's probably part of the joke.
Maybe they tell Omega, oh, look over there, that Gordon, he's actually one of Eggman's robots in a Fletch suit. And then goodbye, Gordon.
You'd think Omega would be like able to tell.
Yeah, but by that point in the program, he doesn't care.
I guess that's true. I think maybe
Gordon said something mean about him, and
maybe Omega's just tired of him. It's like, I know you're not an Eggman robot, but I don't care. Murder.
Kit and Surge's sabotage end up setting the whole place on fire. Nobody's going to get out alive. Maw steps back, opens his mouth, drops everything into the black hole that is him. And they just decide, okay, we all won today, and they walk off.
I'm frozen. Boy, this is a crap show. I like it. When is this going to happen in IDW? This seems more like a backup story of an older Archie issue. Yes. Like back in the day when they used to play hockey and weird stuff like that.
Maybe partway through, Amy and Clove realize that this is just a lost cause and they sneak out together to actually do some real cooking.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Here's a question from Sam Cybercat. Asking as someone who skipped Sonic 4 when it came out and doesn't know anything about it, but do you both think there's any reason to go back and check out Sonic 4 nowadays? I'm
an apologist for episode 2.
I'm not.
I know.
Okay. It's fine. Whatever. We all have our weirdness. I like Sonic Heroes, so nobody's perfect.
Like episode 2, I feel like had some neat ideas. I liked the combo system between Sonic and Tails, and that cliffhanger it ends on will haunt me to the end of my days. And episode Metal is fun for the novelty of playing as Metal Sonic.
Yeah, for what, 2 zones?
No, you play through the 5 from episode 1 in reverse order.
Okay.
But it's just like 1 act apiece. And
that's right, the 1 act apiece. That was what it was. I'm like, why do I remember that being super short?
I feel like the enemy placement was more aggressive as well, but that's just me. Episode 1 is
rough.
Playable.
I mean, technically, yes, it does in fact boot up, and you can in fact use a controller to interact with it.
I mean, there are definitely worse Sonic games out there.
I mean, yeah, it's true, but none of them are literally called Sonic 4.
Yeah.
None of them are literally intended to be the follow-up of the series 2D peak.
Yeah.
Like yeah. 4. Throw a 4 at the end. Yeah, great. Thanks. I'm sure the developers appreciated that.
If you're a completionist, play it for completion's sake. Enjoy Metal Sonic's theme.
The music is weird, I will say. It sounds wrong, is what it is. It's Jun Senoway trying to channel Masato Nakamura and not quite getting it. And then the instruments outside of the drums are like all wrong. It doesn't sound like Genesis. It does not sound like a Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, whatever. It doesn't sound quite right. So it's like, no. I don't know, man. I would say play it, maybe, if you want to play it. You want to play all the Sonic games. But, I don't know. Watch it on YouTube otherwise, if you really need to. But, I mean, it's not even canon, really, anymore. Like, it can't be. It doesn't work.
You sure about that?
Ian, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Knowingly smiling?
No. This is not a smiling moment, Ian. This is
I'm smiling at your distress.
This is the knowing sob. This is the knowing cry, okay?
Maybe for you.
Of Sonic 4? Sonic 4 says yeah. Why are you doing this to me, Ian?
Because I delight in your misery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really hate Sonic 4 that much. I mean, I'm kind of being a little extra on it, but it's not great. It doesn't help that it was called Sonic 4.
Yeah.
If it were anything else, it probably wouldn't be nearly as. I wouldn't think nearly as poorly of it, but
my enjoyment of episode 2 is very much colored by the expectation of how it would have improved further into episode 3 had it come out.
Yeah.
It's not a glowing review.
Not really.
Well, I would go back and play episode 2 again if I had access to it.
Maybe I'll fire it up again one of these days. Maybe I'll do one of those streams we haven't done in ages. Here's a question from Wolfsbane. MMOs. They've been around for a long time. Did you guys ever play one for a long period of time? Were you into the older ones like WoW, RuneScape, EverQuest, etc.? Or did you guys play a newer one like Final Fantasy XIV, Elder Scrolls Online, or Guild Wars 2?
No, not really. I played the trial of WoW back in vanilla, I guess, before the first expansion, and I played some of the original Phantasy Star Online, but played it offline because I couldn't tie up the phone line. That's about it.
Yeah. The only one I played extensively is City of Heroes. And that's not one on your list. Definitely not one of the bigger ones.
That on BumbleKast Gaming.
Huh?
I had forgotten that we played that together on BumbleKast Gaming.
No, that was a different one. That was the DC Universe Online.
Oh, right. The other MMO of the superhero.
I played that a little bit too. But I mean, I've played the superhero, all three of the major superhero MMOs. So DC Universe Online, City of Heroes, and Champions Online. And of the three, City of Heroes is by far the best. It's also the only one that's not officially around anymore. But the unofficial servers are kicking. They've been kicking for a few years now. Came to light the whole server side source got put out there. So yeah, it came back, but not officially. The other two are all right, but I have not played them nearly as much as I played City of Heroes. So
I remember I really wanted to play Star Wars Galaxies when it first came out, but I just didn't have a rig that could run it. And now I don't have the time.
And now it went under, I think. Well, it went under.
Oh, yeah,
it went under ages ago, but now I think it's back I think it's been back with unofficial servers for a long time.
I know they overhauled it at one point to try to bring up interest and really alienated the core crowd. Because, like, from my understanding, the original game, it was very much you get just dropped in the galaxy and it's your experience in the Star Wars universe. And then with the remake or the remaster or reconfiguring, whatever they did to it, it was like you were meeting Han and Leia and Luke within the first hour of gameplay. And it's like, no, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Like, sure, it was hard to become a Jedi, but that's kind of the point. You're playing during the original trilogy. The Jedi are not supposed to be around anymore. That's kind of what Vader did. So, I don't know. I never actually played it. I don't really have a leg to stand on in that debate.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Here's a question from James. Which holidays do you think are shared between our world and Sonic's world? Do you have any idea for Mobius-specific holidays? More importantly, how many holidays are the Chaotix actively ignoring to get those bills paid?
I'm just going to be safe and say all major holidays are recognized.
Good old Decemberween.
Because a lot of holidays are, have religious ties and overtones, and you exclude one and that gets real nasty real fast. So we're just going to say, sure, everybody celebrates their holidays in Sonic's world. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's art of all of them in various holiday-themed attire, doing holiday-themed activities. So, yeah, we'll just say they're all there.
I would imagine that the day that the Eggman War ended would become a holiday.
Mother's Day is just a day for Vanilla because she's the only mother.
Maybe Station Square has their own personal We Survived Chaos Day.
Big Wave Remembrance Day.
It's Tsunami Tuesday.
No! The day the moon got blowed up real good.
Yeah. Moon Remembrance Day. Now I'm just imagining downtown Station Square with this big, like, float of perfect chaos with these very stuttery animatronic arms.
Yeah.
And everybody's got, like, a little Supersonic branded yellow hacky sack that they throw at the float as it passes by.
It's amazing.
Oh, and there's one in universe because in Soliana they have the celebration of the flame.
Mm-hmm.
Please, flame, don't kill us. That's a big holiday over there.
Don't kill us, fire, please.
Please, ancient flames of destruction,
And
don't
then,
be.
And then here comes Blaze. The Black Arms defeat day. I don't know,
It's
man.
kind of a depressing set of holidays.
Well,
here's the day we celebrate where we didn't all die. Thank you, Sonic.
Well, I mean, that's kind of that's kind of how it works sometimes, The day the worlds split into, and then the day they remerged back into one. Celebrate both. Or have be sad on both. Reflect on both, because you remember the days when the worlds were separated versus now when they are combined. I don't know. Whatever.
As for the Chaotix, they are always working. What are you talking about? They haven't had a vacation in years. Unless you count the time that they don't have any work. That doesn't really count as a vacation, but it's all on how you spend it, I guess.
I suppose. Here's a question from Joni. Are there any romantic relationships you would make happen in Sonic IDW if you could? Are there any you think would add to the story or characters involved?
I am going to walk around that one right the play. Because Joni, I am sure you have nothing but the best intentions with your questions, but that is super loaded. That is like driving the truck of nitroglycerin across a volcano loaded. Yes, but that's kind of just my personal feeling on it, and I can't implement it. So I'm going to step away. Shipping has become such a volatile topic about this series that I don't want to. I do not want to be the one to make that decision. If SEGA were to step in and say, okay, make this pairing a thing, sure. Okay, I'm going to redirect all the ire towards you. Do not shoot this messenger.
But, Ian, people hate it when you blame SEGA.
Yeah, well...
Sometimes it's SEGA's fault.
I do not mean to throw them under the bus. I tried. It's all meant to be in terms of clarity and
just being honest. Yeah.
Directness. Yeah. But in this case, yeah, I will absolutely throw them under the bus. If they canonize something, that's their business. I work for the license. I will follow that guidance, but I am not going to attach myself to it. In terms of adding to the story or improving character relationships or whatnot, in theory, yes, but you would need to have room for them to grow. It needs to go somewhere. And likely it wouldn't, because a lot of this franchise is staying true to its core elements and being timeless. So until the day comes where Sonic as a narrative can grow and change, I feel like sticking two characters together, and I'm speaking exclusively within what we have right now, wouldn't really amount to much, because it would just be they're together now and they're not going to live happily ever after. They're not going to grow old and have babies together. It's because they're always going to be teens. It's just there, which is enough for some people. Other people would want more, and I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Still waiting for Tangle and Whisper's wedding. It's gonna happen, right? About time. Someone do it. We got one more question from Sapphire Scarletta. Imagine if Infinite fell in love with somebody. How does this jackal go about wooing this person? Woo. Is he a negging guy? Does he neg them? Like tells them how weak they are?
Maybe.
Or maybe he's screaming that he's not weak, like he's constantly trying to assure that he's not weak.
The first hill I have to get over is the idea of Infinite loving anybody. He was a nihilistic jerk.
Well,
but when you say, negging someone, he is rather torturous and sadistic when fighting other people. So yeah, he'd be the kind of gaslighting scumbag to tear someone down until he was their best option.
Mm-hmm.
Yuck, I hope he is dead.
Wow. Sorry, Infinite fans. He's no longer infinite. He is finite. And we are finite. We are also finite. We are finite. We are finished. We are done.
We are, but before we go, we're going to give a big thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast and Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast who support the show and make it possible. A big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, DK, Doizdiz Din, Dave M., Andrew D., Off, Salute Your Cat, J. Frost, Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sonny, Hero of Light 13, John M., Noni, Ryan D., Jib, Dawn B., Yami M., Lee HK, Lisa M., Chevelle, Blue Title Gamer, Fiona M., Ben W., Tick Tick, Final Neil, Xanderoni the Painter, Jonathan D., Fire Red XY, Nimric, Solaire Stain, Dabbler the Dalek, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B., Pedanti Cat, the name is X, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Axis Pandulce, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Ava Arctic, Jennifer H, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Les, Professor Rye, and Preston M, Cameron H, Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukon, Noah S, Chase L, Red Wolf, Kojiro Hyman, Joey the Sonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radry, Callum Q, Just a Mountain Soul, John the Real Waluigi, Owen BD, Alex GS, Ty Hawkins, Maddie H, In Zephyr KJB, T Ranger and Tails, Dream Boatin, Mox, Lewis J, Derusiful, Force Sonic Fan, Finest Cacophony, Techno Cinema, The Marble Gardener, Arc Fighter, Goosey Tantai, Agent Kaz, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica, Michael P, Spiral Warrior, Jamal S, Neo Strife, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Ty Cyan, Nondal, Rhythm Raccoon, The Cartoonist, Chaos Sonic 1, Sprites Forever, TV Guru Speedweed, Pizza Person, Joni, The Internet Person, Alicat, and Azalis.
All right. Heck yeah. That's one heck of a list, man.
Yeah,
Super duper. Super duper list. Huge. It's huge. Anyway, we're done.
Join us Friday for the standard edition of the Q&A, and then this Saturday, it's the end of the month, so we're going to be doing BumbleKast live yet again.
Whee! Tune in for that.
Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you on Friday.
Just a minute.
Just a minute. I don't think we have a minute. Doot 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 doot. I'm kidding. We have as many minutes as you need. Doot doot magic flute.
Okay, there we go. Just need to adjust some stuff, and I didn't want that coming through. Although Midna just kind of like tackled the entire mic stand. I can't help that one.
Oh well. Doot doot Sonic Warrior.
Do 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 do. It's a hold music. Hold music.
Yep.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
How dare you be late? How dare you? I was specifically wondering where you were. I keep track of all of you. I'm like, how dare they not be here?